This is one of sport's great proving grounds, a gateway to glory.
Brilliant!
29 tournaments spanning 19 countries. Along the way, a chance to expand horizons and sample life on tour.
How beautiful is that? Magic, eh?
Finish the season in the top 20 on the road to Mallorca rankings and secure a golden ticket to the DP World Tour. This is the Challenge Tour. This week on the Challenge Tour, we're in the Czech Republic for event 26 of 29 this season, and it's crunch time. The D&D Real Czech Challenge is the final counting event of the year for the players before the top 68 in the rankings entered for the event head to China for back-to-back tournaments before the season ending and defining Challenge Tour Grand Final. Tension and anticipation filled the air as the players entered the make-or-break stage of the season. All eyes now fixed on the Challenge Tour Grand Final at the end of the month. Just the top 45 players in the Road to Mallorca rankings will qualify before we find out which 20 players will be plying their trade on the DP World Tour for 2025. Royal Beroun Golf Club is the stage set for the players this time, a new venue for the event, and by the end of it, we will know which players will be finishing their Challenge Tour season and which will be continuing their journey to the Far East. As it currently stood, the likes of Bryce Easton and Ryan Lumsden will be looking for good weeks in Czechia to climb up the rankings to book their tickets to China. Tomas Gouveia was sat in 68th and just on the right side of the bubble.
Morning, boys. How is it?
And he was well aware of the importance of staying there.
It's crucial, because I mean, if you go to China, there's a lot of points and anything can happen. You can, even if you're 70th in the rankings, you have a couple of good weeks, you get close to the or inside the 45, you go to the final and anything can happen in the final, as we saw last year. So it's crucial if you want to go up the rankings and try to get to the DP World Tour. You have to get into China. I started very poorly outside of Europe. I didn't play well at all. I struggled to adapt to the countries we went to. Once I got to Europe, I found my game, and from there I think I really played well. But the second half, you know pretty much all of the courses. You know the countries, you know the places you're going to stay in, and that makes it easier and more comfortable for us. It's very tough because the level here is very, very good, very close to the DP World Tour level, and each and every week the best players are playing, so it's very hard to get a top 10 and even harder to get a win.
With so much on the line for all the players, you could almost feel the tension in the air.
I do sense a little bit. It's very close to Q school, to be honest. The players get a little bit more quiet, but you know, we're fighting for our job. We're trying to keep it or gain it. Yeah, it's stressful. So it affects everybody who's close to that cut line. So I think it's normal. I think my game is very close to my best. If I can drive it well this week, I think I got a shot. It's a very important week, obviously. I'm in the right side of the bubble, but anything can happen. So I'm just going to focus on my game and focus on each shot that I hit. If I do that, I think I'll have a great chance.
Further down the rankings, players were well aware that a good week could instantly turn the season around, which was certainly the case for a player sat just outside the top 100, Julien Sale.
Hey, how are you? I feel like I can do it. Like last week, I played Q School, I played really well, so I know my game is there. I've played the course, I like the course, so now it's just a matter of just really staying in the process and really focusing on what needs to be focused and pretty much like put the foot aside, don't really look at the leaderboard and just put your head down and go full speed. Summer bass season. I felt like I played a lot better than last year, but results-wise, I did a lot worse. I've improved a lot on my game, but then I haven't managed to get the result. Like, it could be like a confidence thing or something like that, but also like the level of play from the Challenge Tour. I think every year it's going up and up, so it's becoming tougher and tougher to do well. I'm not gonna lie, at the beginning of the season, my goal was to go in the top 20. Now my goals have changed a bit. Towards the end of the year, it was more to stay in the top 70 to get my card, and then lately even to get to the top 90 to get exempt from first stage. It's not really that goal anymore, it's just try to do well this week, maybe save a category with good results to go to China, and then obviously keep the full card for next year. And if not, I've played first stage Q schools, now I'm in second stage, and then maybe get to third stage and then try to do something from there.
The Challenge Tour is arguably the most competitive professional tour, with such a high standard and good finishers needed each week to make any inroads on the rankings. It's been a steep learning curve for Sale.
As the season goes on, it gets towards the end, you get a bit more pressure, so that becomes even harder. It was already hard to score top 10s at good points, and it becomes even harder because there's this added pressure on it. So that's when you need to really focus on and work on yourself to really stay in the present and not think about that. Like, for me, it's like the less I think about it and the more I'm focused on what I need to do, the better I'll play. Everything's gonna be full on for this week, put all basically all in like in poker. So if I make it, then I'm gonna be really happy and be glad to go to China.
Wednesday afternoon and day one of the D&D Real Czech Challenge, where Sale and Gouveia would be partnered alongside Benjamin Follett-Smith, who at 74th in the rankings was also looking to guarantee his progress to China. Starting at the 10th, Sale began with a par. But for Gouveia, it was the perfect opening, as he made birdie to take the first step in the right direction. After 3 pars to get things underway, Sale dipped into the red for the first time at the short 13th, and like Gouveia before him, showed signs of relief. Gouveia had dropped a shot at the 12th, but then recovered with back-to-back birdies on the 14th and 15th. Good early signs that the putter was hotting up. The same couldn't be said for Sale, whose fine tee to green play wasn't being reflected in his scoring. Gouveia had gone out in 2 under. He then dropped a shot at the first, but made amends with birdies at the 3rd and 4th holes to get to 3 under for the tournament. Playing alongside them, Follett-Smith, who had only secured a solitary top 10 finish all season, and that back in February, was flying. 5 birdies, no drop shots, and that eagle at the par 5 18th saw him fire a best of the season 63 to sit tied 3rd after day 1. The round of the day, though, belonged to Ross McGowan, whose birdie here on 18 was astonishingly his 9th of the day, and a bogey-free 61 would see him end the day at the top of the pile. Gouveia finished up at 3 under, and Sale finally tapped in for a 2 under round of 68. Despite no drop shots, it proved a frustrating day full of missed opportunities for the Frenchman.
It was nice, the bogey-free is always nice. I think I hit like 17 greens, and the only green I missed, I was not too far off the green, so it was not too bad. So yeah, I'm really happy with the consistency I have, so I want to keep that for tomorrow. And I'm working at the moment on the putting, trying to work out a bit of a couple things so the putt is a bit hard tomorrow and can make a couple more birdies.
Solid starts for both Sale and Gouveia then, but with qualification for China very much in their thoughts. They knew they needed to go lower on Thursday.
It's always in your mind. You know that you're in the bubble. You know you have to put some good scores and play the weekend and play well. But what I try to do is get myself to the present and do what I can in each shot. That's all I can do. Play my best each and every shot, and if I do that, that will take care of itself.
Early Thursday morning, and day 2 would prove pivotal in the season for both Gouveia and Sale. Make the cut, and their bid to make it to China would stay alive. Miss it, and the journey would end here. As on Wednesday, Gouveia got off to the dream start. Good early signs that the flat stick was warming up. Four pars followed as Tomas settled into his round before arriving at the 6th, faced with a 60-footer for birdie. An incredible effort as he moved to 5 under for the tournament. Whilst Gouveia's putter was on fire, Julien Sale's had turned ice cold. 2 under after day 1, the Frenchman needed birdies as the projected cut mark was at 5 under par. But the ball just wouldn't drop. He went out level after 9 consecutive pars. Sale would continue his par streak, 15 in total, before finally getting one to drop at the 16th. The relief was there for all to see. He arrived at 18, knowing that he needed to make eagle to stay in the tournament. But it proved to be the story of his week. A birdie to finish, but he would find himself 1 shot shy of making the cut. Gouveia had registered 8 pars on the back 9 and faced a birdie putt at the last to get to 5 under. No mistake, job done, if only just. Alongside them, Follett-Smith, also looking to make it to China, was continuing the form from his 63 the day before. The 30-year-old from Zimbabwe was putting on a masterclass. He ended the day with 8 birdies and for the 2nd round running without a drop shot in sight. A 62 left him tied at the top at 15 under. For Gouveia and Sale, it was time for reflection.
The game is in a good place. When you go bogey-free for 36 holes, it's never a bad thing. It's unlucky this week. It's a week where you need to make a lot of birdies, but the game is feeling really good. Like I'm pretty much in control. It's just I couldn't quite get the putts to go in this week.
If I make it to the next few days, I have nothing to lose. Making the weekend will get me in the right spot in the rankings, so I should be okay for China. So I've got nothing to lose. So I'm gonna stay aggressive and see if I can make a lot of birdies to go up the leaderboard.
Coming up, we'll discover which players secured their seat on the plane to China. And we find out who came out on top in this year's edition of the D&D Real Czech Challenge. Welcome back to the Challenge Tour and the D&D Real Czech Challenge from the Royal Beroun Golf Club. After 36 holes, there was a tie for the lead, with Benjamin Follett-Smith alongside Maxence Djiboudot on 15 under par. Although with just 3 shots covering the top 7 players and the course yielding plenty of birdies, it could all change over the next 2 days. In addition to looking to secure a win for the first time this year, both of our leaders also needed a decent finish if their season was to continue beyond the week. So with plenty at stake, it's over to our commentator Josh Antman for the best of moving day.
No bogeys over the first 2 days for Benjamin Follett-Smith, and it was a fast start on Friday. This birdie, one of 5 on his front 9, to go out in 29. The other leader after 2 days was Maxence Gouveia. He started with a birdie on the first, and he quickly followed it up with a birdie on the third after this delightful chip. Didn't quite have the birdie fest on day 3, but a 67 still kept him in contention. 12th place last time out at the Italian Challenge for Sam Hutsby, and he was continuing the good form. This chip in, his only birdie on the front 9, but he came home in 31 to post a 65 on day 3 for the Englishman. Much like Follett-Smith, Oliver Lindell had no bogey through the first 2 rounds, possibly the most informed player on the tour with 4 top 10s in a row. It's seen him shoot up the Road to Mallorca rankings, and with shots like that you can see why. A birdie at 6 was followed by that birdie on 7. A pair of 63s had seen Geraldo Magnus stake his claim for a first Challenge Tour title. Out in level par, but he improved things on the back 9, and he started in the best way possible. This approach at 10 led to a birdie and got things going for Magnus. There was no sign of Follett-Smith easing up on day 3, 5 under for his round as he came to the 12th hole. Ball above his feet for his second shot, but what a shot that was from Follett-Smith. A birdie there to get to 18 under par. Lindell went out in level par, but he put on the afterburners on the back 9. Birdies on 13 and 14, a birdie there at 15. He then proceeded to birdie the last 3 for 6 in a row. It was a 64, and second place heading into the final round. The birdie on 12 was followed by a birdie on 14 from Follett-Smith. He picked up another at 15. There's the fist pump, and a 5-shot lead at this point. As for Tomas Gouveia, one of our featured players this week, a day that started so well, it ended poorly, however, with 2 bogeys in a row. He signed for a 71, went backwards on day 3 for Gouveia, but he's done enough to qualify for those back-to-back events in China. It was a wonderful finish on Friday for Magnus. The par 5 last was completed in just 3 blows from the man from Iceland. This long-range effort for Eagle put him into a share of 3rd place heading into the final day. The leader after day 2 was the leader heading into the final day. Follett-Smith making a par at the last and signed for a fabulous 63. He would lead by 2, looking for his 2nd Challenge Tour title.
So a look at the leaderboard with a round to go showed despite shooting 67, Gouveia had lost ground as Oliver Lindell's 64 saw him move into 2nd place. But out in front by 2, it was Benjamin Follett-Smith, who'd amassed an impressive 21 birdies, 1 eagle and just 1 drop shot over his 54 holes.
Overall, I've been playing solid the whole week, so kind of came out today and was doing the same sort of thing, making a few putts, hitting a lot of shots inside 10 feet, which definitely helps. Got that little fist pump thing going, so had a few of those.
Saturday morning in the Czech Republic, and with the leaders preparing to get underway, it was time to discover who would hold his nerve, who would be continuing their journey to the grand final, and of course which player would wear the crown as the 2024 D&D Real Czech Challenge champion.
Zimbabwe, Mr. Benjamin Follett-Smith.
And to guide us through the final day, it's once again back to Josh.
Trailing by 2, heading into the final day, Oliver Lindell, he got off to a hot start. This bunker shot at the par 5 gave him a birdie and initially put him just 1 back of Follett-Smith. But the overnight leader responded with a birdie of his own on the par 5. This putt from 10-12 feet restored his 2-shot lead. Becoming a bit of a battle between the 2 leading players. On the very next hole, Lindell stuck this approach close to card another birdie and get just a bit closer to Follett-Smith. But the Zimbabwean was having none of it. Huge drive at the 3rd. This little chip almost holding out for eagle, and he restored that 2-shot lead once again. No fist pump this time. It was a mixed bag on the final day for Jonathan Goth Rasmussen. 3 birdies and 2 bogeys saw him go out in 33, but this birdie on 10 would help him to a 65 and a share of 5th place. A birdie at 5 was cancelled out by a bogey at 6 for Follett-Smith, but this tee shot on 9 saw him go out in 31 blows. Really showing some good stuff, the Zimbabwean, despite only having one top 10 all season on the Challenge Tour. Gouveia was having a fine day out there on the course. This birdie at 10 helped him to a 65 and a tie for second. Superb performance from the 20-year-old. Sam Hutsby was finishing like a train on the final day. He had birdies on 14 and 15, and he followed it up with this on 16, almost holed out for eagle, picked up another one on 17, and he also signed for a 65. It gets him into the top 20 on the Road to Mallorca rankings. Things were getting a little close at the top of the leaderboard, but Follett-Smith showed his class on the 16th with this approach, gave him just a little bit of breathing room at the top. He sealed victory with this birdie on the last. 20 months to the day since his first Challenge Tour win, Benjamin Follett-Smith picks up win number 2 at the D&D Real Czech Challenge.
So, confirmation of an, in the end, comprehensive victory for Follett-Smith. Just 2 drop shots all week helped him to a 5-shot winning margin over Maxence Gouveia and Oliver Lindell. James Allen, 61, saw him record a season's best finish, tied for 5th alongside Jonathan Goff Rasmussen. But celebrating off the course just as much as he was on it was Benjamin Follett-Smith.
Somebody in the media, and they were just saying that us golfers never celebrate enough, and we're a bit mellow on the golf course. So I thought maybe we should have a fist bump, and we made birdie on the first hole of the tournament, and I thought I'm going to fist bump and be that guy. And I just kept it going the whole week. And I'm so grateful with the results. So being in this position now and being able to play China and have a real good chance of, again, trying to get my DP card has just taken a huge amount of pressure off.
And so to a look at the Road to Mallorca rankings, where there's no movement amongst the top 8 positions. Oliver Lindell's runners-up finish sees him climb from 17th up to 9th, overtaking Benjamin Hebert. Further down, and Sam Hutsby's upwardly mobile in 18th, Nikolai von Dellingshausen occupies that crucial 20th spot, whilst Follett-Smith's win took him to 26th place. As for the players who'll travel onwards to China next week, well, the cut mark has moved down to 76th, so Bryce Easton is the last man in, and he'll be joined by Tomas Gouveia. Sadly, that brings an end to our time in the Czech Republic, a week that saw Benjamin Follett-Smith return to the winner's circle in style. He's our 20th different winner this year. As the season really hots up now, with just 2 events left before the grand final. We'll return next week as we embark on a double header in China. We'll see you then.